was in 2005, Cork invited a number of European companies to present work outdoors through the year, and there was a version of Frankenstein, and so the audience were in between two ends of a boat like this, and we were just all standing on the road. It was in the Grand Parade, and the stages were two, like the prow and stern, anyway, two ends of a boat, and so ostensibly we were on the boat. And there's a bit where the boat is being tossed and it's in a storm, and like they had a hose and they sprayed us with water, and it was amazing that they could generate that moment, I think, for like probably at least several hundred, if not 1,000 people at a time, a moment of play and of magic, and like that's what really makes me excited, I guess, as a theatre maker. And then to like experiences that I've had like completely one-on-one in the theatre with with more avant-garde companies, I think having that broad spectrum of understanding, I think, will only sort of improve your sense of what it is that you want to do and what you want to execute in your work. So that would be the number one thing I would say. And then in terms of practical things, I would say find somebody who wants to work with you who's a good producer would be helpful. Learn about the funding landscape in wherever it is that you are, and how that will impact on how you want to kind of conduct your practice. And what was the last thing I was going to say? Producer, practice. I can't remember now. That one there.
I have heard that there are many different unique traditions in theatre. Did you encounter anything interesting, like some rituals or customs?
Say that again. So
like theatre traditions or superstitions. Like
there are certainly as a teenager, the woman who taught us would told us about so like basically if you say Macbeth, I don't know if you know this, like you're not allowed to say Macbeth, and if you do, you have to like go out and turn around 3 times and come back in to sort of, I guess, dispel the curse or whatever. She used to make us do this. I am happy to say Macbeth. I'm not that, I'm not superstitious about that, at least. And then of course, I mean, I don't know about like whistling in the theatre, why that's not allowed, because it might interfere with the signals between the flymen, and then we don't signal anybody with whistles on the flies anymore, but that's something might be dropped from the flies inadvertently and hurt you. That's not a superstition. That's just very good practical advice, I think. And we have a ghost here in the Everyman, reportedly.
Tell me more.
Well, I don't know, like there's been various reports over the years, of people appearing in the box or appearing, I don't know, I've never encountered anything of that nature, but there are people who would swear blind that they have. And what's the whistling, Macbeth, ghost, and then I suppose, I don't know what it's like in Canada or elsewhere, but like we send cards on opening, like everybody like sends cards to everybody else, and so like when I'm directing a show, like my family usually send me flowers, and other people receive flowers on the thing, and I go, like, I'm just doing my job. I don't know any other people who do their jobs and who get flowers repeatedly for doing, like, I love it, I love getting flowers, but I think it's very funny. I think it's a very funny thing that, that we should be repeatedly throughout the year sort of celebrated with flowers and cards, but it's a very important, I guess, what it is. As a producer, it's very important, I suppose, to make those gestures, because typically you're never paying people enough, or you're never paying people as much as you'd like. So like you're trying to make some small gesture to make people feel cared about, which they are, and to try and communicate that in some way. And the best producers I know really take time to do that with the people they're working with, and that's why they are where they are.
What do you think about Irish theatre nowadays?
I think it's in great shape. It's, there's lots of, I suppose I've been around long enough now to have seen maybe to have a sense of trends And so the kind of first 4 years of my working life, the whole of Ireland was we were in boom time, and it was there was seemingly a lot of money around, and there was a kind of the infrastructure in Ireland was such that there was pockets of theatre companies, not unlike Cork, which had been formed around artistic directors like Pat, and other the person that I worked for, Johnny Hanrahan, when I moved back to Cork in 2008, had a company like that. I worked there 2 years, and there was maybe about 30 or 40 of these companies all over the country, and after the crash between 2008 and 2010, 2/3 of those companies were wiped out, were completely defunded by the Arts Council. So that had a sort of a really direct impact on theatre in Ireland and theatre making, in terms of, I guess, the progress that's been able to be made. So there's sort of lots of gaps in the sense that gaps in training and gaps in kind of that capacity to be able to apprentice with a company and learn how to do things. If you're a younger person trying to learn how things are done in the professional world, there were fewer and fewer opportunities to do that, and that I think was really and is we're still sort of bearing the brunt of that right now, and it's really difficult if you're a producer and an independent artist. You have to do a lot of work conceiving and planning your show to put in a funding application before you can have it funded. So it means that there's a huge amount of work that goes unsubsidised by Irish artists who are making theatre and making other art as well. So I guess that's one of the big challenges that we have, that we're facing, and because of the changes, our kind of economic changes over the last number of years, Ireland is becoming much less hospitable a place for artists working on low incomes to be able to, there was a time when it was possible to kind of live on a very low income and make work, and it's just becoming increasingly impossible because rents are so high now and the cost of living is so high. So that's having also a direct impact on sort of the range and the quality of ambition. There's lots of, as I said, we have a big theatre downstairs, but there's lots and lots of shows that are being made that have casts that are no bigger than 2 people and that have very minimal sets because people can't afford the risk of spending on a set or spending on extra cast members. But there's still this urge to tell stories, but it feels, to a kind of great extent, our theatre feels very impoverished at the moment, I think. And I know audiences respond when they see something that feels kind of bigger and more substantial in terms of the production values and in terms of the scope or the scale of ambition of the show. So the challenge for producers, I guess, and artists is to try and find the means to be able to make work at that level. There's a bit of debate, I guess, too, about the demise of the Irish playwright. About the emphasis on literary adaptations in recent years, and about, I suppose, particularly where younger or more emerging makers are concerned, an emphasis on more collaborative processes in terms of theatre making. I think all of those things are very good. Not the demise of the playwright isn't good, but I think the rise of devised work and seeing more adaptations, I don't have a problem with any of that. I think that's a really good thing, and I think it's good for that to be for that kind of making landscape to be diverse. I think that's healthy. By the same token, I do think that we are neglecting playwrights and playwriting a little bit. I'm not sure that that's being supported in any meaningful way, other than in a few very, very small pockets. And I think working on plays like Lonesome Whetstone on Dancing at Alina just remind you about what a really great play can do or does, for the actors and for audiences, that the playwright is really conceiving in a very crafted way moment to moment what the experience is, and often encapsulating that in a very, very few words or in just a gesture. That's not to say that, you know, adaptive work or devised work can't do that too, but it strikes me as a really extraordinary feat of writing for the playwright to be able to do that sort of on their own. So I think that might be those are, I guess, some of the things that I think about Irish theatre at the moment.
Is there anything you would like to talk about?
I don't think so.